Wrestling fans around the corner and around the world, I'm the Big Fat Well.
And I'm the rocker, Marty Jannetty.
And in about 10 seconds, we'll be talking about 90s wrestling straight out of Melrose.
It's going to be a rockin' show. Who let the little kids into the studio?
Cut!
Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com. We know what you're thinking. Did they fire off 6 fascinating points of interest or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all the excitement of watching and listening to Long Island's #1 wrestling podcast, I've actually forgotten myself. But being this is the Monty and the Pharaoh from Indie Music Studios in Ronkonkoma, and the fact that they were talking to yet another champion wrestling star, one of the most powerful and talented performers from the wrestling franchise, and not to forget, well-informed and provocative interview questions asked and answered. It was such an interesting and entertaining hour, the questions nearly blew your head clean off. Now you've got to ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Do ya, punk?
What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now. I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Farrow from Monty and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monty and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. Later.
And they have to resort to telling truths, Tony Rich, talking about my mother, talking about where I came from. You want to give a history lesson? I'll give you a history lesson. Kelly Wolf, Wolfie D, he's all the same person. When you talk about Kelly Wolf's mother, you're talking about Wolfie D.
And here we go, the original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause we're spitting the truth, still livin' in color, bum rush your mother, utilize a hubcap, I'm like any other. Back in the day, I was N.O.D. and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3, in case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D, been cloned and copied so many times, cotton suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are without me name dropping wrestling's first white boy coming out.
The domination rap, I did all that shit, and they still want the 2 and not just the 1. But I'm telling you, this one made the fucking team.
It makes your ears get infected, mad skills, no faking, there is no one greater, cause I'm bringing more folks than Obi-Wan or later. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You take a step to the side unless you want to get dropped.
Welcome. Wednesdays with Wolfie D. What a weird week it's been for the PG-13 family. I cannot believe what I watched on Monty and the Pharaoh with JC Ice, Jamie Dundee, my partner, man. I can't believe what I watched with him. It just blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And we are going to get to that. The first thing I really want to do, though, is I don't want to, I don't want to put him on first. I do not want to put him on first. I'll get to that, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. What I want to do is I asked you guys to send me in some questions, do it with a funny face and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do first, man. We're going to do that first. You guys come first. Jamie, oh my God, I cannot believe that he got on there and just lied and contradicted himself for 45 minutes. It was just like, what in the hell? I've watched the views he got. I'm probably 10 of them because I sat there and I couldn't believe it. Just absolute craziness. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna take you guys videos that you sent in to me, and I'm gonna answer some questions for you.
Hey brother, so 2 questions here. Back in the day when you were younger, did you ever have an aha moment that made you stick with wrestling or end up having to make a decision to quit and get a regular 9-to-5? And then my second part of the question is, do you have any kind of resentment towards some of the WWE superstars like The Rock, the Hart family, for example, of these people having an in already into the business? I'd love to hear your thoughts, man. Thanks.
All right, Ben, down in St. Pete with the Joker face. So I guess the cause of guys not being able to go from territory to territory is really what makes it where if you don't have a contract with Vince or now AEW, you're not really going to be able to actually make a living. You can say you're a pro wrestler, but to me, a pro wrestler is somebody who's paying his bills with that money and that money alone. Now, you know, for guys that, you know, have been to the mountaintop and come off of it or whatever, I still consider that pro too. But when you have to get a job, you have to get a job in order to eat. I mean, and so, and I've actually quit a couple of times saying I was done and get back in. But for when I stopped getting a check from either TNA or WWF or USWA, when you and like even ECW, because I didn't have a contract with them, it was a nightly deal. I knew how much I'd get every night. It was, you know, a few nights on the weekends. So it's hard to say an aha moment, but I knew, especially once my TNA run was over, I said, you know, I gotta have to quit relying on the wrestling business to eat. So that would have been, I guess, my aha moment, if that was the actual one. I say that because, like I said, I think there's more than one moment. Then when I got hurt, when I tore my tricep, I was at an age where I thought, because I was running my wrestling school and doing things like that, but I knew really at that moment too that, man, it's just ain't lucrative anymore, you know. And had I not made some of the mistakes that I made, maybe I wouldn't have been in that position. But, you know, shit happens. And as far as jealousy, the wrestling business has always been a business where it's who you know. And a lot of life is like that. It's not just the wrestling business. So I can't say that I would be jealous of the people that, you know, had families. I mean, it actually benefited me a little bit because of the relationship. Obviously, Jamie, his father, the Memphis, might not have made it to Memphis without, you know, he made a statement. And like I said, we're going to get to all that. He made a statement that it could have been anybody else standing with him in that ring and it would have worked. And I think he knows deep in his heart that's bullshit. But let me get back to your question. The jealousy thing. I tell you, the only people that I hate to, you know, say jealous but just that pissed a lot of us off, and I've talked about this before on other shows, is when WWE started sending guys into the territory or OVW or whatever, and we're paying them, like going out and getting somebody. That's like going out and getting a guy, hey, you want to play baseball for the major leagues? Nah, I'm really not good at it, or I really don't care about baseball. Oh, well, we'll pay you. We'll pay you to learn, and we'll teach you. Then you got guys, like when I wrestled for OVW, this is no shit. I rode a Greyhound bus from Nashville to Louisville. They picked me up. I'd do the show, stay with Cornette that night, and then my wife would come get me the next day after she got off work, 2.5 hours. Now, if that's not dedication, and that was after PG-13, that was when I was developing Slash, and I wasn't getting paid by New York for that, so I'm on a Greyhound fucking bus. These guys have apartments and a paycheck coming in, and believe me, what I was working for OVW was nowhere near what those guys are getting, and I'm not saying they were getting rich or anything, but I was trying to reestablish myself with a new gimmick, and I had to repay my dues in my eyes, you know? So that's what I did. But thanks for your question.
Make that 3 questions. When did you start in WWE? What best matches you had in the WWE? And let me know if you both want to come on my live feed to talk about both of y'all's careers. Have a good one.
All right, little small-faced child. When were we in WWE? The first time was 1995. First match was a win. Second match was a loss against the Smoking Guns for the tag team titles. I didn't have a lot of matches per se. I was involved in a lot of matches with the Nation, but I didn't have a lot of matches on my own. I did come back as Slash. Had a good match with Ron Killings, R-Truth. I had a match with Too Cool. I had some syndicated show matches. I'd say I'd have to go with the match against the Smoking Guns. Even though it was a loss, it was a tag team title match. It was 2 segments long, and it wasn't like they just killed us. It was a competitive match, so I'd have to say that would be my favorite. I don't think I ever really get to showcase myself in WWF like I would have liked to, and not WCW either, even though we had really good matches there. We just weren't put on the platform to excel much more than go out and have really good matches. That's, you know, to get over, you got to have the machine behind you and all that jazz.
I know you said to use a filter, Wolfie, but I decided not to. Sorry. Hey, this is Doogie, and my favorite wrestler of all time, Ron Simmons. No doubt about it. He always seemed to be like the baddest ass on the planet. So am I right about that? Was he the baddest ass on the planet? And if he wasn't, who was?
Doogie, you look great. I could recognize you anywhere. Good to hear from you, by the way. If anybody doesn't know, he used to work in Nashville at the radio station down there, Cool Cat. Always been a supporter of me and wrestling in general. So Ron Simmons being a badass. I will say this, you know, there's always that debate of who's the baddest guy in wrestling and blah, blah, blah. All I can tell you is this story. I don't remember the town, and I don't remember. Ron had a sling on his right arm. He was legit, had a shoulder injury. It was against the Road Warriors. So he was hurt, and we go into this hotel bar where we were staying, and of course I'm having a few drinks with some of the fans. Obviously, you know, it's either they're going to recognize you and won't shut up talking to you, or they want to, you know, be Billy Badass and try to talk shit. So this one cat, and not even a big guy really. I mean, he was tall, but anyway, he'd had a few too many, and started running his mouth. And I don't remember if it was directed at Ron or me and Jamie, but it was just us three. I do remember that. And this guy ran his mouth a little too much. And with his left hand, and about positive Ron's right-handed, got that sling, he grabbed this son of a bitch by the throat. And I mean, this guy looked like a rag doll. He was taking him, like just slinging him around like this, and then, whoom, threw the kid up in the air, backwards. It looked like a movie spot. It really did. And he went backwards over the table, of course. And so security comes and throws the kid out. Well, then he gets outside, and the hotel bar was, all glass where you could see it from the outside. You could see the bar. So it was all glass. So this kid, they throw him out, and, he didn't have enough. So he's raising his shirt up, as saying, suck my titty, basically, and putting it on the window or on that big glass, and then jumped and did it one time, and that whole thing of glass just shattered, and he came tumbling in. Well, needless to say, that was the end of his night. Of course, the cops were called. But the way Ron handled that, I've never seen anybody be handled like that before. He just, literally one-handed by the throat, was just shaking him back and forth like this, and then wham! Wow, brother got some power. But thank you, Doogie. You're beautiful. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. This JC Ice going on the show with the guys. And okay, let's start from the beginning here. I went on the show because I was asked to be there. That was the deal. He no-showed all of it with no regard for anyone but himself. I'm not gonna play his interview. I'm just taking some notes here on things that stuck out to me, because I really honestly feel like he went on there and exaggerated, lied, and contradicted himself the entire hour. So I just made a few notes. And the main thing I want to point out, when I went on there, I was in the moment there, or I'd been trying to call him. The guy had wired him money. He's on here, I don't need no damn money. I just got 25 grand and blah, 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 blah. If you didn't need money, why did you let the man wire you $300 a couple of days before the show for a rent-a-car? You don't need the money? Just one of the many contradictions of him just spouting off his mouth, And the thing is, man, I didn't make this personal. I went on there, I buried him, I was mad at him, but I didn't say anything about his alcohol, drugs, anything. I didn't say nothing about that. When we know that there's been a lot of times that he no-showed, and we know what the reason was. And like I said, I'm not going below the belt like he went. It's no secret, I've got a documentary on Amazon about my issues. But for him to get personal with it like that and to say my girl is on porn sites, whew, man. Does my girl have a fans only? Yes. Do you see any porn on there? No. The most you're going to see is a nipple. But she's pretty, and who gives a fuck? And how would you know? You go to subscriber? So I think it was pretty low, and I'm not going there because obviously knowing him for so long, there's a lot of things I could say, but I tried to keep it a little bit professional, and give him a good knocking because he deserved it, and let that be it. But he wants to go in that direction and, take it all personal and things. No, sir. Then after my last episode with the puppet and everything, I actually had some people, I was reading comments on some of this, and I've known Jamie, he's changed, he's a great guy. You know what? I have nothing to argue about Jamie being a great guy. But Jamie only cares about people if they're doing something for him. If he can get something out of them, that's when he cares about you. And yes, he used to go stay with fans at their houses and become friends with them and all that. You know why? Because they were doing shit for him. He used that wrestling that he hates so much. JC Ice, a different person, he used that at his advantage. And fuck, I've done it. We've all done it usually. But to sit here and, he's changed. If he'd changed, he wouldn't have no-showed the event. That's, I wasn't questioning his any kind of drug use or anything like that. I have no idea what Jamie does with that these days. That's why I said for him to throw my shit out there like that is a real low blow. And then on the same sense, I love Wolfie. He's my brother, but he's that uncle you don't want around. Are you fucking kidding me? You're that motherfucking uncle that people don't want around. You're loud ass, fucking talking all the time and just being self-centered. I thought about that as it was happening. I'm like, man, this trip would have been not near as enjoyable if he would have come. Because, we got to tour around the city and blah, blah, blah. I would have had to listen to him the whole time. I need some cigarettes or some shit like that, which I'm Dundee's hungry or some fucking shit like that. No one knows what it's like, I promise, unless you have been around him as long as I have. And, you know, a certain someone said that I didn't know him anymore and all this kind of bullshit. Man, when you're around somebody that long, believe me, you know him, and you know him well, you know. What was some of this other stuff here? Oh, and yeah, he's such a great guy. Starts the interview out talking about how he's just shoot his dog. I mean, whether he's joking or not, that's another point of mine, is that he's out of touch with the world today. You don't say shit like that. If you want to think that, that's one thing. But to get on and say it, especially on a platform where people are going to hear it, and everybody's dying to run with something like that. Jamie Dundee says he'll kill dogs. It's just dumb and out of touch and redneck. He look, I got white trash right here. It's not really something to be that proud of, man. I mean, in a certain sense, but the trash part, you know, it's like, why do you want to be trash? I never claimed to be the greatest guy in the world, and has my life been all, sunshine and rainbows? Hell no. But just think this guy took it to a different level. And then him going on this rant about how the wrestling business just chews guys up and spits them out. Here's the thing, Jamie, another contradiction. You were raised in the wrestling business, so you already knew how the wrestling business was, and then continue to pursue it and get into it. And now you want to go back, and I loved what Pharaoh said. It seems like you're disappointed, and that's why you're fucking pissed off. You know, you made a statement also in this interview that I could have been anybody else standing in there with you and you would have made it work. Well, you wouldn't have had a gimmick to have made it work, okay? Because that was my creation. You, by far, could not have written any rap because I wrote every single word. You don't have a rhythmic bone in your body. So me trying to run DMC back and forth with your ass was not the easiest thing to do, and I deserve props for that even. I forgot where I was going with that, but oh yeah, anybody else could have been across the ring. I mean, he knows that's horseshit, and he knows that every once in a while there's a team that just has that certain something about them. They click. You know, you can have two superb workers that may not click as a team, but we did. And for him to say, I could have been anybody, I don't think so. I think we both contributed a lot to it. You know, and when I went on their show, I was pissed. And I said, this one made the team. But in a way, that's true, man. I mean, I started the gimmick. I wrote the raps. I was in that regard, you fed off me. Also, I don't know where he came up with that. I hope Wolfie ain't never trained nobody my ass. I trained plenty of guys. I don't know where that fucking came from. You're trying to say, like I said, I trained you. That's horseshit. I never said that. But I think what could have gotten twisted there is the fact that you were able to help me on the microphone as to where I was able to help you in the ring. Because I'm sorry, when it comes to technical fucking ability, I'm better. Point blank, I'm better. Wolfie, I went to jail. Wolfie went on to TNA like you took some charge from me or something. What the fuck does that even mean? Yeah, I changed my gimmick because I knew it was running its course. I came up with another one that worked. Took it to OVW to develop it. I even was on WWF with it. And shot myself in the foot. Again, if I want to talk about my issues, I'll be the one to say them. Okay? Wolfie went on to TNA, and guess what? Jamie wasn't his partner. I had Brian Lee. I had Flash Flanagan, Sin Bodie. They kept Crowbar. They kept putting me with people. Me and Brian clicked, but they kept putting me with people. Why would that be? Oh, this motherfucker's a good tag team wrestler. So for you to think for 2 seconds that it could have been anybody else standing with you in the ring and made it work like that, you're out of your fucking mind. Let's take a break, folks. We'll come back.
And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
Do you treat your dog as part of the family? Well, so do we. So why not celebrate your pup's birthday with the ultimate party box? Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Party Pup Info, and let us make your pup's party or any celebration perfection.
Hey, so Jamie, I got us here. I got us a therapist. A therapist? Yes, I did. I want them to try and help us out a little bit, man, because we've been through too much. We've been through too much to not try to work this out. But, okay, what do you mean? What do you mean? I need you to sit here and I need you to talk to the therapist, man. I mean, I need you to help me out here, and because you even said it. You did. You said it. You wanted to work things out. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's work it out. So I got somebody that you might want to talk to, man, and see what we can work out.
Mr. Dundee?
Hey. Hey.
Mr. Dundee,
Yeah.
you've been sent here today by a family member that you refer to as your brother. His name is Wolfie D.
Wolfie is my brother. Sort of, kind of, yeah. What's up?
According to Kentucky KRS Section ABC 123 OBGYN,
OBGYN?
a family member can actually have you court ordered for an evaluation.
Oh my goodness! What kind of evaluation am I? What is this? What is this?
Well, I'm glad that you're comfortable with the blanket and all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's just get this evaluation started. Mr. Dundee, you believe you live in a magical land called Dundee Land, where dogs eat shit for breakfast,
No.
and if they get sick, you're going to shoot them.
Well, yeah, they do eat shit sandwiches sometimes, and if they get sick, then I mean, I guess I shoot them. Yeah, that's probably what I do. And Dundee Land is one of the greatest places you could ever live. Let me tell you that, Miss
Diamond Sparkles.
Diamond Sparkles. Let me tell you that.
Okay. Mr. Dundee, can you tell me exactly where this Dundee Land is located?
Well, Dundee Land is located everywhere. It's everywhere. I mean, if you just live in it, it's everywhere, and you can do anything you want to do because it has no consequences on anyone else. And here's the greatest part. They all speak Australian, like me.
They speak Australian like you.
Yeah, Australian. They speak Australian. I came here when I was 4 years old, and I've been speaking Australian ever since.
But Jamie, 78% of the continent over there speaks English. So exactly what language do you speak?
Well, I mean, it's Australian. It's Australian. I speak Australian. I've been here since I was 4. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I speak Australian.
Jamie, as your therapist, I have to think that Dundee Land is just really all in your head.
Well, I don't know where you came from, lady. I don't know where you came from.
Jamie,
But, what?
I
What?
believe Dundee Land is just another way of you just not taking responsibility for no one and nothing but yourself.
Well, I'll tell you, in Dundee Land, I can do what I want because it doesn't have an effect on anybody else.
It doesn't. I can do what I want. I can buy motorcycles. I can buy flame throwers, and nobody cares. I can do what I want. It's Dundee land. And
Jamie, I mean, how well did that work for Michael Jackson?
I don't. What are you talking about? What he had?
He had a magical land too.
He did have a magical
with
land.
no consequences.
But his consequences were. Look. I really care about Bobby. I care about Wolfie. I care about all these people. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Please don't look at me.
Jamie, are you going to cry? Jamie, are you going to cry?
Can we take a break or something? Can we take a break?
Cry, Jamie. Just let it out.
I don't
Just
want
cry.
to. I
Just
don't
let it
want
out.
to.
Just let it out.
Dundee land is where I live. And, oh my goodness.
Jamie, I have just one final question. And
What?
This question is just for me, just purely because I want to know it.
What?
You've been buying a lot of motorcycles lately. Are you buying all these motorcycles to sit on because you feel like you're lacking something between your legs? I mean, it was noted on the... Just let it out. Jamie. Just let it out.
Ma'am, why would you ask me that? Why?
Jimmy, I gotta take a dump. What? No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP. And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
Hi, it's John from Under the Table Hot Sauce. I'm here with my friend, the star of the show, Jimmy Farrow.
Yeah, what's up, JB?
Nah, nothing.
It's been a hot summer, and for all your barbecue needs, you can go to underthetablehotsauce.com. 13 unique flavors to choose from, created and bottled in a Long Island kitchen. Underthetablehotsauce.com. Let's go chow, JB.
Let's do it.
All the flavor, twice the burn.
And the personal shots were fired, and it's a shame. It really is a shame that PG-13 and their friendship has to end like this. And all it would have taken would have been, just to be honest, give a phone call or something. And to this very minute, I've not received a, hey, well, sorry, hey, nothing. Have not heard from him. And that's the part that disturbs me the most is, okay, if you don't want to be in the wrestling business, fine. Don't say I'm grasping at anything, because I've been approached. I was approached to do Live and in Color. I was approached to do Wednesdays with Wolfie. These are not things I was pursuing. People came to me and said, hey, you got a good story. You guys were a good team. You got some stuff after that. People like to hear about it. And so I said, okay. So it's not grasping at anything. I'm sorry that you want to blame the wrestling business for the way things ended for you. I personally take responsibility for everything that I've done that might have caused my career to be a little less than I would have wanted it. But the point is, like I said, I feel there's an apology owed for the personal shots at me and my girl. But if that's the type of person you want to be, then you be that. And unfortunately, to go on with this show, I can't talk about a lot of my career without mentioning Jamie Dundee. So as a professional, as a performer, that's my dude. But as a person, I just feel he's slapped me in the face once again. And what we're going to do now, before I do this, go to Pro Wrestling Tees, go to the Live and in Color Wolfie D podcast store. You can get this shirt. You can get the one that's up here. And also the one with the Live and in Color Wolfie D logo, which comes on all platforms, Mondays at noon. We've had some great guests on there. You might want to check that out if you can't watch like this one. But check it out. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do another walkthrough match here. Everybody remembers the Eliminators, Perry Saturn and John Cronus. But they may not remember that they were in Memphis before they got their push in ECW. So the story here, Jamie and I had gone away to Memphis. The Eliminators had come in to Memphis from Japan, stiff as they could be. And me and Jamie came back. We beat them for the belts. And we had a nice little feud with them. They beat the hell out of us. So we'll watch this match here. PG-13 versus Eliminators on YouTube, 1994. Mid-South Coliseum. Nice house. I can't believe I wore that vest. The 90s, the early 90s. Referee Frank Morrell, Lance Russell commentating with Corey Macklin. Burt Prentice there on the outside as a manager. A lot of these folks are not with us anymore. Cronus, Burt, Lance. Gotta love that mullet I'm sporting too. Ugh. Big Cronus, what an athlete this guy was to be as big as he was. He could move. Double bulldog. And the booty bump that we didn't get to do a minute ago. $1,000. Good crap. It's just hard to believe a guy that size, I don't know if he does it in this match, but can do a front handspring into a backflip over the top rope to the floor. Amazing. Nice little spot there. Flex, kick to the balls. That was one thing for the Eliminators. It was hard for them to digest with some of the Memphis bullshit. But it worked there, you know. Every region that you wrestle in is weird. There's almost a different style. I mean, nowadays, it's all universal because of television and things. cable television, internet. See, a lot of crowds wouldn't buy this kind of stuff right here, and it seems slow now when you watch it, but that's what worked. Little babyface hair pull. Bert looks highly entertained up there. That's an A+ mullet. That thing. Curls. Blonde stripes. Of course we tag. Of course we do. Use their speed, their agility to be able to get the advantage of. But I can tell you, JCI's hollering over at Wolfie. Moved too soon, in my opinion. I do love that. I don't know if you caught it when he picks him up for the slam. Oh, shit. That always was good on a back rope, too. Trust me, Perry Saturn clothesarms are rough. Probably telling him right there, Jesus Christ. Laid him in. That's good though. I do remember Frank right here saying something funny to me about that. I can't remember what it was. But he called me Whoopie. Whoopie? You alright? He was just sitting there thinking, okay, I think there's another one coming. I think it's 3. Can I take another one? Maybe not. This is really when we got our first chance at like a main event run, the Eliminators. Before all this, like I said, we had just come back from Mexico, but before we left, we were still undercard, mid-card, heels basically. Randy Hales had the book here, and he gives us this opportunity. And this is what started our babyface run in Memphis. Not necessarily this match. This was not the first match of the series, but this was the first real feud. So, having said that, I mean, we're kind of still learning at this point. Double heat. Looked like a hot tag when we were headed home, but hold the double heat. Manhandling him. No help there, trust me. I've never liked the heel picking up the babyface for a couple of reasons. A, I think it makes your babyface look weak. And also, why are you not trying to pin your opponent, especially in a match for titles and all that mess? The blind tag. Maybe that's why he's mad at me, because he always took most of the heat. Hey, Faye. Get Perry had all that hair back then. Also kind of hard to believe they put this guy in a dress and made him carry a mop around. I think both these guys are athletes. Perry, former Army Ranger. Like I said, 100 times strong as he could be, boy. I love the jumping stomp. I love that. Then somebody like him that can do it that good. It looks really good. But Jimmy's thinking, fuck, can we just make the fucking tag? Get me out of here. Bert, that looked kind of snug from Bert, too. See, in my opinion, the reason I know so that pretty much is that you got to keep the focus on the floor over here where the babyface is getting the heat on him is. I should just be the referee should be with me, or they need to be antagonizing me, but not doing anything to me. I'm simply trying to get to my partner without going to the floor and doing it and taking the heat away from that. That's one thing about psychology, is just where you know the focus needs to be, where the people's attention needs to be. And that sounds easy, but it's not sometimes. And doing it right. Here's the hope. Build it up, let the heels tag first. And I will say, on their part here, terrible job of feeding me. That's supposed to be a lot more explosive than that. If they didn't want to take bumps or whatever, but it should have been the ping pong. 2 misses. Always like this. 3 people miss. And he misses. Everybody misses off the top. Look at this. Look at the fans. Boom. That's all that matters right there, is that reaction. That's all that matters. The rest of that match, it absolutely really means nothing at this point. It's that reaction at the end that tells you whether you did your job right or not. He just told a big fat lie right there. And this, I believe, yeah, this is a brutal beat down right here. This right here. Oh. Oh, man, those hurt. Because he's not using it right. He doesn't carry the hook out. You don't do the two-head. You don't know how to use it like that. He's just swinging that son of a bitch, man, like a hammer. And he's, like I said, strong. Ugh. I remember that too. Right in my face. Got the color. Ugh. Right in the face. Ugh. And again, really notice the reaction of people. They're not sitting on their hands. They're up, and they're actually coming towards the barricade. Oh, God. Jeez. All right. And as a heel, you got to know when to go, too. You've done your damage. It is time to go. You can almost do too much. Like, they had it. They still have it, but there's no need to go back that time. Like I said, the crowd reaction was really what you're looking at there. The pop for the finish, the pop for the hot tag, but the pop for the finish, they stayed with Jamie during the heat, and look at them now. They're concerned for us, legitimately concerned for us. Because they know we just took her ass whooping. Legitimately. Heavy juice. Yep. So, Tony, let's get out of there. So, appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode of Wednesdays with Wolfie D. Don't forget Pro Wrestling Tees on the Live and in Color with Wolfie D store. You can get your shirts and come back and see me next time.